UFC Vegas 102, Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodriguez. This is the Funk and Flex MMA betting breakdown show, Valentine's Day edition, which means we will be going through a speed run tonight. Just so I'm not wasting your guys' time on this special holiday. While you're here, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and we can go ahead and jump right into last week's recap before we go over this weekend's card. Starting off with the dog of the week, we had Justin Tafa. In an unfortunate turn of events, he gets KO'd in the first round. And where I thought that he'd look to be the slick counter striker and really give Teixeira that veteran check, and I just did not think Teixeira's skill sets were at the caliber that they were. He clearly has power. Put Justin Toff out in like 19 seconds, something like that. There was never a hope for this dog of the week to cash. But thankfully, I did too to try to get some momentum, and it did work. We'll move into this week with some momentum on the dog of the week with no thanks other than to Tom Nolan, who did get the dominant decision win over Slavakaz. I expected Nolan to have to mix in his grappling and clinch game a little bit more than he had to, but he just outclassed Slavakaz on the feet. His striking was superior. And just really movement, everything. I didn't think that Slavakaz really stood a chance in that fight from the moment that it started. Nolan looked like the superior fighter, and he did almost have him finished a couple times, which would have been, very even bigger win for Tom Nolan. Nonetheless, a massive win for him, and he should get a ranked opponent next. And lastly, Dricus du Plessis with the lock of the week in the main event, and still winning the championship dominantly in a decision over Sean Strickland, who just really didn't seem to ever get going in the fight. It looked like Dricus was going to get the KO in the fourth round after he had a nasty nose break on Sean, just completely shattered his nose. You see Sean reset it, and when I thought it was going to end, and where Sean says he's going to fight to the death, he just danced around for another round and a half. So we did get a dub on the main event. I did have him to win by KO, but nonetheless, we're gonna take the lock of the week momentum and bring it to the confident picks section as well. 3 out of 4, and you know what? Cody Steele did get absolutely whooped in that fight, but you gotta love his heart and toughness. And just because he lost, I don't think that that's gonna deter me from betting on him again in the next matchup. Rong Zhu at his young age just has so much MMA experience, and he just gave Cody Steele a little bit of a veteran check, even though he was the younger fighter. Um, Wei Li, never a question in my mind. You bet against Zhang Wei Li against on Tatiana Suarez, then you deserve that loss. Tatiana hasn't fought anywhere near the level of competition that Zhang Wei Li has, and you better put some respect on the GOAT of women's MMA because she's coming for Valentina next, and I will back her all the way. Kong Wang, a nice decision. I thought she could have got the finish, but did just what she had to do to get back in the win column. Bruna Brazil looked hurt several times throughout that fight, and I don't think if Kong Wang is coming off a loss that Bruna Brazil sees the judges in that. And then Salah killed, absolute dominating performance. Slept him in just a few seconds, where a lot of people online were saying that it was an early stoppage. I didn't think so. Ange Julie's head just smashed onto the ground, and even though he did kind of grab a single leg and start to work his way back up, Salah killed would have just inflicted more damage, and I do think that it was a warranted stoppage. So going 3-1 in the confident pick section will move us to 9-5, which did put us up 3.2 units on the card. A nice bounce back and something that I needed desperately here to start the year, as we've been negative all of 2025, down only 1.2 units now on the year, and I'm looking for 2025 year, and I'm looking to strike back strong this week. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the confident pick section for UFC Vegas 102. Up first, easy pick in this one, Shabazian. I think that he should win this dominant and inside the distance fashion. Just the money line will be the confident pick, however. Putting him as a featured fighter against Budka on UFC Vegas 102 when Budka got absolutely destroyed by Andre Petroski, who fights 2 fights before this earlier on the card. It should just show you that the UFC is trying to set something up here, and I think Shabazian is what that is. He's the exciting striker who comes into fights very aggressive. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a round 1-2 KO here. I really do like the round 2, but I don't know if Budka's even going to be able to survive the first. So give me Shabazian. Also, Gabriel Bonfim, who is the first of the two Bonfim fighters fighting on the card, will be the next confident pick. I really like him in the spot against Chaos Williams, who I think that he is just better everywhere. Gabriel Bonfim with the grappling. He does have the reach disadvantage, but with how Bonfim fights, I think that he's going to be able to close that distance. And if it does get onto the ground at all, and he's able to implement the grappling, no question that he'll be able to win this fight. I just, I do think that even if it stays on the feet, he's a confident pick because I think he's got more technicality. And while Chaos Williams may have slight power advantage, I don't think that Bonfim is going to be there to be hit. So on to the next, we got Delgado winning this fight over Matthews, who I just is really more of a fade on Matthews. I'm not big on paying minus 400 making Delgado's debut here, but he has looked absolutely dominant in the regional scene, just knocking everybody out. I think that he's going to do the same thing to Matthews here. And last but not least, without anything need to be said, Angela Hill, who just continues to age like fine wine at 40 years old. I think we're going to see the best version of Angela Hill here. We definitely did in her last fight. Just the striking of Angela Hill is on another level, and she continues to beat people when she's doubted. So I'm going to take the even money, maybe even wait a little bit. I haven't put my bet on Angela Hill yet. The line is moving towards Souza. Um, that being said, I'm going to have to go Hill here on a confident pick, and I'm especially all over her if I can get her on dog money. Which brings us to our dog of the week. It's main event dog this week. We're going Jared Cannonier to get the dub over RoboCop. And while it's not the utmost confident pick, I do have some concerns about RoboCop fighting these 5-round fights. And there's one thing that Jared Cannonier has no shortage of is looking good in 5-round fights outside of his last fight against Caio Borralho, who really looks like he could be a contender here in the stacked middleweight division, as here we are with another middleweight main event. I just think Jared Cannonier has fought the tougher competition, no question on that. And even though he has, did get dominated in his last fight, I thought that he looked good against Imavov, who absolutely flatlined Izzy in the second round. Cannonier won those first 2 rounds. And so if he can really just steal one of those first 2 rounds from Gregory Rodriguez, I think the last 2 are going to be his for the taking. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a finish. And late fight finish or a decision. I can see any of those happening here. Nonetheless, though, we're going to go Jared Cannonier with the veteran pick here. I normally don't pick these 10-year age gaps or 8 years age gaps, but we're going Cannonier and Hill. I think these veterans are tough, and I think that they're better than most 40-year-olds. Cannonier, who does turn even 41 tomorrow. So Cannonier with the old dog pick. And the transition to the lock of the week, which is Yusuf Zalal here. I absolutely love Zalal, as his second run in the UFC has just looked nothing short of dominant. He is the complete package as a fighter. Great grappling, great wrestling, fantastic striking, Muay Thai, clinch game. Wherever it goes, Yusuf Zalal can have some moments, and he's on a submission win streak. So I would not be surprised to see him keep that rolling here and get a sub over Calvin Kattar, who is by far his toughest test that he's had in his second run. But I think that Yusuf Zalal has submitted better grapplers than Calvin Kattar, who is known to be a boxer. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Yusuf Zalal get a sub here. That being said, I think Yusuf Zalal can really prove a point here on the feet. If he stands and trades with Calvin Kattar and gets a finish on the feet, you're going to see a big jump up in competition for Yusuf Zalal, as he does deserve it. And you'll see that that's my first degenerate prop here, as I really think plus 1100 has some insane value for Zalal by sub. I also like Smith with the insane value Zalal by KO, but Smith by sub rather at plus 1400, fighting Vince Morales, who is known to just rush forward, not really conserve cardio. He did look good against Taylor Lapilus, or I don't want to say look good. He got his ass absolutely beat, but he did not back down. He does have the dog in him. He can take blows. A lot of a lot of moments in that fight where some people in the division may have quit, but he does have that chin and heart to keep pushing forward. We got Cavalcanti here by KO, and I know that the initial lean was wanting to go decision, and I still probably will bet the decision. I just think that Vieira is out of it, and Cavalcanti is going to be able to come out there and absolutely dominate on the feet. Avia, who is someone that does have veteran experience, just really seems to be fighting at this point in her career, at least, just for paychecks. And you never like to see that against a young up and coming fighter who has a lot of momentum and excellent technical striking on the feet. So I'm gonna go Cavalcanti by a round 2-3 KO when Avia just quits and realizes that she's not anywhere near the level she was in her prime, especially when it comes to training and how she comes out. It's a night and day difference. So we're gonna go Cavalcanti by KO for a degenerate sprinkle here. And like I explained in the dog of the week, we're gonna go Cannonier 4-5 decision. You can give me all three of those a triple chance for plus 400. That is almost too smart to be a degenerate sprinkle. So give me Cannonier there. I can see him winning in a late round KO or decision. Even though Rodriguez does get hurt early on and he has been finished early in his fights, I do just have strong suspicions about his cardio. So that being said, I really appreciate y'all going through the expedited version of the betting breakdown show. I will have the full card posted tomorrow, as well as all of the picks, official picks for the card posted on the Instagram. Follow me at Funkinflex MMA. And while you're here on your way out, drop a like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe. And we're going to go ahead and see you guys at the preview prediction show this upcoming Wednesday. Hope you all have a great weekend and let's cash some tickets.